So hey guys, I am back with another video. So today's video is about, well, it's titled Depression. Oh, this title is very dear to me because if you don't know, you should know by now that I'm very transparent in anything dealing with me. I just feel like the things we go through are not just for us, they're for other people too. And so I don't have no shame in expressing things that I've dealt with, overcome, still battling, or whatever the case may be. But depression is something that that was a part of me for years, and I lived with this so well that I didn't handle it the way that I should have handled it, or as soon as I should have handled it, because it just wasn't something that I really thought that needed to be handled, I guess. But because I've dealt with it and I've battled it, and the things I've learned and seen, I wanted to do a video about it because I think it's very important for us to discuss it, not only as a people, but as human beings, but also as Black people, but also as a Black woman. I think it is so important to talk about this topic. It's very important. Because if we don't address the things we address, we're going to be pretenders. And when we start pretending, we lose a sense of self. And when we lose a sense of self, well, that's when you call existing and not living. We can't have that. So, first thing I wanted to discuss was, I have my little, so I don't miss my points. So the first thing says, sometimes depression is rooted in this idea that our peak isn't enough based upon the plan we previously set. I think for most people, like me personally, I'm a planner. That's what I do. If it's not planned, I don't like it. I feel like crazy. I'm not a go with the flow. If you don't know, now you know. Seriously, like I'm just like, I don't like it. I don't like not having a sense of control. Yeah, it's a problem for me. So, when you set plans or you have this idea of what things should be, and they're not that, that can cause a serious depression, because it's like, if I plan this and I work for this, then why is it not what I planned it to be, and why is what I did not, why didn't it happen? Like, and you feel like that's what you're supposed to have, or that's what you're supposed to do, and that idea will keep you bonded. It'll keep you in bondage. It will keep you in jail in your mind. And we gotta let go of the plans. We gotta let go of the ideas, because one thing I know is that God. You can plan all day, but God's will going to be done whether you like it or not. And if you sit in that space and think that you're planning your life, and yeah, you're going to cause yourself a lot of heartache. Or it's the fear of the unknown, whether it be a new job, your identity, or how people view you. I think it's hard to, I don't think it's hard, but I think most of us live in the shadows of what people think of us. And when we do that, we're really cheating ourselves, because people will only look at your view and their level of perception. So if I'm expecting you to view me as a queen, I'm doing queen things, but your mentality doesn't even reach there, then I'm seeking something from you that I'm never going to get. And so I'm depressed for no reason. And Oh, that's tough. So yeah, like we gotta move past this sense of validation. I think I've spoke before on validation from other people, and I think that we don't, most times people don't realize that they are seeking validation, but you are, um, from anybody. I mean, just to hear, oh, you're doing good, or yay, that was great. You have to do things you have to do things not expecting in anything. You have to. You have to be willing to perform, and thousands of people and no one claps. You have to have that mentality that I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do, whether they like it or not, whether people think it's cool or not, because if you sit and you go perform and it's something you worked hard for, and you go perform and nobody claps, you've then placed your identity and your self-worth in someone applauding you, which is bullshit. I mean, to say the least, it's garbage. Because yeah, that's a whole nother video. I'll definitely touch base on validation and why we seek it from others, and I will definitely touch on that. I also, when I touched on the part of depression being fear of something, I said that there are two different ways to react to fear. Either it melts you or it molds you. When you think of something being melted, most oftentimes when it's melted, it's usually spread thin, it's all over the place, it doesn't really have a form, you can do whatever you want to it. I mean, it's like Play-Doh, it's like slime. And that's how you are. When you let fear control you, and then that fear causes you to be in a depression, you're basically melted. You basically let the world and life mold you, flatten you out, spread you thin, do what it wants to you, and you have no way of helping yourself because you've let that fear control you. But when you're molded, it's not a lot that can be done to you when you're molded, because you have that center, you have that core, you have a barrier that someone can't get to. When you're molded, when you have something, there's always a center, and it's protected. And so it's important that if we're going to fight depression, that we stay molded and stay grounded and stay true to us. And until you stay true to you, things are going to melt you. Things are going to melt you. Things are going to control you. Things are going to do what it wants to you, because you didn't keep yourself molded. You didn't keep yourself grounded. You have to have boundaries or things that you just won't. You have to have a sense of, this is what it is. Not saying you have to be in a box, but this is who I am. This is what I do, and everything else is just not. I'm just not tolerating it. Because once you do that, you'll have a core. Things that you can't penetrate. So that's important. Also, I wanted to say that if you feel depressed, you have to seek out why. If you don't seek out why, because sometimes we think, oh, I'm depressed because I didn't get that job. But really, it's probably most likely it's a lot more than you not getting that job. That's why you're depressed. And so it's important to seek out why we're depressed and find a way to alleviate it. We have to. Because if we don't, we're just piling it and piling it and piling it. Then we put something over it, and then we pile it and pile it and pile it, and then we put something over it again. And that's when you get depressed to the point where you're not getting out of the bed, you're not eating, you're not going out anymore, you're not doing it. It's because you didn't deal with it. You just let it stack, and then it stack you, and then it shrink you, and then it stack you, and then it shrink you. And oh man, we have to find a way to alleviate the depression, because it's important. mental health is important. Um, and I think that until you experience, I don't know, I think everyone knows that mental health is important. Don't get me wrong. I think everyone understands that mental health is important, but I think that if you've never experienced anything dealing with mental health, it is very hard for you to really grasp how and what it can do to a person. I don't think that you can fully understand it. You can empathize and you can sympathize and you can do all those things, but you can't fully understand and be aware of the demons that it. Just like if I've never been addicted to it, I've never been on drugs, I've never been anything like that. So I can empathize with a person. I can understand what it can do to a person, but I've never been that person. So to me, I can't guide you. I can encourage you about it. I can try to, you know, make you feel good and you know, push you to do better, but I don't really truly understand that monster. So I think that if you haven't really dealt with depression, it's really hard to understand it and to deal with it. Even if it's not you, but someone that you love deals with it, it's hard if you don't really understand it. So I just want, if you feel like you're depressed and you cannot help yourself, if you feel like you can't seek it out and you can't figure it out, it is nothing wrong with asking for help. It is nothing wrong with seeking help. I don't know where this thing came. I don't know where this came from, where we can't seek help. I don't understand it, and I wish it wasn't a thing, but if we're being true to ourselves, we know that it is, and we have to fight against that. We have to encourage people to seek help. We have to encourage people that they aren't being judged. We have to encourage people that they're still strong if they seek help. I don't know, like, I wrote this down too. This is the next thing I was going to talk about. I was going to say, I really don't understand the concept of being strong and not needing people or not letting people know your business. What in the world? Like, listen, y'all, life happens. You can be strong, but you have to be strong in certain situations. Certain situations, you got to get help. Sometimes you cannot help yourself. And even if you feel like you don't want to go to a therapist, you need to talk to somebody that you trust. I'm not saying talk to everybody that will listen. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying you have to figure it out. You cannot sit and hold that in because you don't want somebody to think that you're strong, or you don't want people in your business, or you don't want people knowing that you went through this. I'm going to tell you something. Transparency is the most freeing thing ever in life. Once I gave up this idea of what I wanted people to view me as or who they think I am, man, I'm telling you, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what you think. I don't care how you feel. I don't care if you screenshot. I don't care if you gossip. I promise you I don't care. Because that whole time when you think you're talking about me, I'm finding my peace. I'm elevating myself. I'm finding a better me. And you're going to still be where you are, worried about what I'm doing. Please. Yeah, listen. This idea of being strong has caused more depression than anything known to man. I think that for most of us, we were raised in this idea that we have to be strong. I don't know why, but we was raised, especially black women, black men too. Like the black community, for whatever reason, has always been told to, you know, and it could root back to slavery and years past of just being strong and holding in your emotion and not showing your vulnerability and not letting people in, and you'll figure it out and you got this. Or, you know, we don't give each other time to cry. Like, we don't give each other time to feel that emotion. It's like, you good. But no, they're not good. That's why when they called you crying, they weren't good. They don't feel okay. They don't feel so. Try to deal with. Try to when somebody calls you, try to encourage them. Try to figure it out. Try to get to the root of it, because sometimes people call you just to know that it's okay to feel what they feel. Not saying that they should, but it's true. Sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, should I feel like this? And you're like, no, girl, you shouldn't feel like this, that, this, blah, 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 blah. You got this, you got that. But I hang up the phone with you and I still feel bad. I still feel bad. Because this whole conversation, you're telling me why I shouldn't feel bad. But we haven't addressed the issue. And so then what you going to do? You're going to stack it like I've been saying, stacking and shrinking. Stacking and shrinking. And then you carry all that to every relationship and person you meet. Y'all gotta find a way to deal with your depression. I dealt with mine when I didn't have a choice. I literally didn't have a choice but to deal with my depression. I did not have a choice. I had a whole breakdown. Like, a whole breakdown. Seriously. Breakdown. And it wasn't until then that I realized that I was like living with depression, and I couldn't figure out, I'm having panic attacks, and I'm like, what's going on? I don't know what's going on with me. I'm like, I feel different, and I never addressed the issues. Because when I talked to people, they couldn't understand why I felt the way I felt. To some people, they feel like, oh, you got a husband, you got kids, y'all good, or y'all this, or y'all that. But those things had nothing to do with my depression. My husband, my kids, my marriage, none of that had anything to do with my depression. My depression was rooted basically upon me and my personal goals and my personal things that I wanted for myself. It had nothing to do with everything else. Everything else hadn't. It was miniature in my eyes to me. And so that's why I think depression is so important to me, because I know that monster, and I know how people can try to diminish it based upon what they see. And that's unfair. That's unfair. And don't do that to people because you feel like, you feel like that they shouldn't feel upset, or they shouldn't feel away. That's wrong. But I wanted to close with this idea of being strong. It says, be strong enough to say I need help. Be strong enough to say out loud, I feel like a failure. Be strong enough to say I don't like me. Be strong enough to say I don't feel like I am enough. Be strong enough to say I don't understand how to love or how to be loved. But also be strong enough to fix everything you feel that may cause these thoughts, because you are depending on you to figure it out. You are depending on you to figure it out. No one else is going to figure that out. No one else is going to know what's going on in your head. No one else can help you through that. You have to be you. You have to depend on yourself for that. So my camera cut off. So I was a couple of things that I just wanted to add towards the end. And that was, you are worth the fight. Life can only beat you up if you don't fight back. That's it. You have to fight back. It's important. I know you guys probably seen the meme where, like, somebody's getting beat up and it's like all these people jumping them, like, bills, groceries, and all that. I know you see the meme. That's kind of like what depression feels like. I feel like you're getting beat up. But as you can see in the memes, none of the people are fighting back. They're just letting life happen. And it's important that we fight back. And lastly, depression is darkness. Depression is darkness. There's no doubt about it. It's darkness. But we have the power to turn it. We have the power to turn the light on. We have the power to flick the switch on. We do. We hold all the power to everything dealing with us. We hold that power. It's important that we know we hold that power, because once we know we hold that power, things can't control us. They can't melt us. They can't beat us up. So that's what I really wanted to say. Video, cut that part off. I love y'all. I hope somebody is touched by this video. And I know I feel good being transparent. And I want other people to feel good being transparent because it's important. And people feel better about it. Even if they don't say it, they feel better about themselves when they know that, dang, I'm not alone, okay? You know, it's just an easy feeling, and that'll become better for them to do the things they need to do, the people that they need to touch, because we all have the power to touch somebody, and it's important that we know that. Because once we know that, we'll be doing great things, and people will be seeking the help that they need, and the suicide levels will go down. So much that will stop when we become open with one another and discuss our darkest thoughts. We all have dark thoughts, dark nasty ones, dark nasty thoughts. We all do. We all have demons. We all have battles. You are not alone. That's all. So, peace.